That Dennis Eckersley sure did live an interesting baseball life, didn't he? I mean, by the time his rookie card showed up in 1976, he was just 21 years old, but already had 4 professional seasons under his belt, including an auspicious rookie campaign with the Cleveland Indians in 1975. From there, he developed into one of the game's best starting pitchers with the Indians and then the Boston Red Sox. The armor started to tarnish, though, as Eck shifted into the 80s, and a move to the Chicago Cubs didn't do much to turn his fortunes around, and neither did a battle with substance abuse. A trip to rehab and an exile to the Oakland A's, though? That was more like it. And then a move to the bullpen at the behest of manager Tony LaRussa and pitching coach Dave Duncan was exactly like it. Suddenly, Eckersley was dominant again, only this time on the back end of games. He became the lockdown closer and provided part of the foundation that let the Bash brothers flourish. So while Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, and Terry Steinbach and others got down to mashing baseballs, collectors got down to pulling ex-rookie cards from the hobby slush pile. And even though Eckersley started appearing on cardboard way back in the dark ages of 1976, he gave us several first pasteboards to chase down. Here then is a complete rundown of all those glorious, or not, Dennis Eckersley rookie cards. 1975 SSPC Dennis Eckersley, number 506. Okay, so you can debate the year of this card all night long. I've always called it a 76, but PSA calls it a 75. The copyright date supports PSA, but I'm pretty sure these were actually issued in 1976. You say potato, I say potato, 1975, 76, all the same. What's really not in doubt is that the so-called pure cards were pirated, bootlegged, illegitimate, unlicensed, not approved by baseball or the baseball union or your mother, but definitely approved by collectors, who were always pining for real sets of cards that look like this, one that would hold real value and one that was licensed. 1989 Upper Deck listened, and so did Topps, mostly. A funny thing happened on the way to oblivion, though. Collectors began to embrace SSPC as if they were real and not imaginary. So here we have the 1975/1976 SSPC Dennis Eckersley rookie card, showing Eck up close in his red Cleveland Indians jersey, just before he stepped on stage for yet another set as lead singer for Queen. Good, solid 70 stuff, real or not. 1976 Hostess Dennis Eckersley, number 137. The 1976 Hostess Eck rookie card, on the other hand, is as real as they come, and as tasty as they come, too. You know, thanks to its placement at the bottom of the Hostess snack cakes thingies. This card features a great spring training shot of a young Eckersley in his white Indian togs, standing in a pose set position. Red, white, and blue in bicentennial, too. It's great. But if you want a single, you'll have to get a hand-cut version, because this puppy was originally part of a 1976 Hostess panel, Fergie Jenkins, Don Money, Dennis Eckersley. Yeah, see, you might think of pitchers in general and relievers in particular as loners on the diamond. After all, they stand out there on the mound all by themselves and face down the savages that stroll into the batter's box a mere 6 feet and 6 inches away. Lone warriors. Only, that's not true at all. They need fielders behind them, coaches to make sure their arms don't fall off, and it would all sorts of come apart if there were no catchers for them to toss to. So pitchers are part of a team. And on this card, this Hostess panel, Eckersley is part of a team too. There on the left is Don Money, all-star third baseman, who is not Rick Monday, and who played too early to really cash in on his name, like on social media or something. On the right is Fergie Jenkins, a Hall of Famer who was in his first 2 seasons with the Boston Red Sox when Hostess caught up with him for this panel. And there in the middle, the Rook, the Kid, the Phenom, the Hotshot, the Eck. You can't fit this 3-fer in a standard 9-pocket sheet, but sometimes you just gotta live a little, and this qualifies. 1976 Kellogg's Dennis Eckersley, number 19. Man, if you like to wash down your patriotic baseball cards with sugary sweet foodstuffs, 1976 must have been a nirvana of a summer. Not only did Hostess treat you to their food treats, backed up by baseball's biggest stars, i.e., see previous, but Kellogg's did the same. Well, not exactly the same, but Kellogg's included little packs of cards. Okay, packs of card, singular, in their cereal boxes, and one of those cards featured our young Mr. Eckersley. Like the other cards on this list, this one shows the future Cooperstown dude in his Indians jersey. This is the only card on the list, though, that comes to you live in striped plastic Crackle 3D. Kellogg's were sports flicks before sports flicks were sports flicks, only much, much better. And this Eck rookie card is much, much good. 1976, so peachy Dennis Eckersley, number 98. At first glance, you might think this is just Eckersley's now celebrated 1976 Topps rookie card. And you'd be pretty much right, too, as this card came at the very end of a 4-year run, 1973 through 76, when O-Pee-Chee mirrored Topps right down to the full checklist. But then you notice that the edges are somehow both fuzzier and more crisp than the Topps version, and you turn the thing on its edge and you find a paler cardstock than the Topps brown mush. Turn it all the way over and you see the real deal. Yeah, it's in French. And then OPC instead of Topps chewing gum in the trademark line. And that paler cardstock. Still though, it's a major Eckersley rookie card and a heap more scarce than the top version. A winner, gagnant, all the way around. 1976, O-Pee-Chee ALERA leaders. Jim Palmer, Catfish Hunter, Dennis Eckersley, number 202. Same story here as for the base Eckersley rookie card, except this one features the 3 gents at the top of the American League ERA leaderboard in 1975, Jim Palmer, Catfish Hunter, and Eckersley. It's pretty remarkable that Eck was even able to appear on this card, given that he pitched for the Indians in 1975 and that he was just 20 years old that summer. For the record, Palmer checked in at 2.09, way ahead of Hunter at 2.58 and Eckersley at 2.60. Right behind that trio was Frank Tanana of the California Angels, who clocked in with a 2.62 ERA with a league-leading 269 strikeouts. Somehow, Tanana's teammate Nolan Ryan putted around that season to the tune of just 186 Ks. 1976 Topps Dennis Eckersley, number 98. Right. This is the same card as the O-Pee-Chee rookie card before, with the exception of the fuzzy edges and the cardstock and the French. And if the cards have any gum residue on them, this one will just have normal bubble gum. The O-Pee-Chee will have that amazing orange and orange-flavored stuff. Anyway, this card spent a lot of its life as nothing much, since Eckersley's sort of fallen into the common bins by the time the hobby exploded in the 1980s. Then, when he became the John Schmaltz prototype, the Sandy Koufax Mo Rivera Alpha model, Eck sent us all scrambling to rescue his rookie cards. When we did, this was the one we reached for and eventually slabbed. And there it sits today, still at the top of the 1976 Topps value hierarchy. Think $600 plus for PSA 9 copies and several thousand for Perfect 10. 1976 Topps ALERA leaders, Jim Palmer, Catfish Hunter, Dennis Eckersley, number 202. Same deal here, except we never really put a lot of effort into unmarooning this card collectively at least. Still, it's a classic card that features three Hall of Fame hurlers from baseball's wacky decade. And the funny thing is, not one of them has 300 wins to his name. 1976 Wiffle Ball Discs, Dennis Eckersley. These Wiffle Ball cards were one of about 512 issues of thin cardboard discs produced by MSA in the mid to late 1970s. Other incarnations were attached to products and companies like Kane, Burger Chef, Saga, and Red Barn. This one, though, the Wiffle Ball issue, was featured on boxes of, wait for it, Wiffle Balls, and it included an Eckersley rookie card. The disc came complete with perforated borders that let you punch them out of the box, so plenty of singles got torn to hell. Nice graded copies bring in small premiums today, and you occasionally still come across a complete box. But not a complete game, because Eck was done with all that starting pitching jazz way back in 1987, 2 starts with the A's. Like our video? Then like our videos and subscribe to our channel. WaxPackGods.com